Ah, welcome to 8 Questions with. I'm the host, Patrick of Have Cheetah Will View. I do believe that Cheetah will be making an appearance tonight. He is on the upstairs, which means he will be cat sharking around. Hi, Katie. Hi, Michael. Waffles, what's going on, my man? Nice price pack. Nice box. You said, Dan. Man, you took care of him, buddy. That's an awesome gift, man. Well done, Michael. So I got some really uh so so my interviews for tomorrow, both of them it just fell apart. Just wasn't just didn't seem to be working. So one guy, Cedric, he got called back for pickups, and then Fran Winston, we just couldn't connect too well. I wanted to get the test run before we could do the live stream, and we just could never seem to connect. And that always tells me one thing. It always tells me if I go in cold like that, I will always have problems, because that's exactly what happened once before here. We did one without no test run at all, and it fell apart. I gotta have the test run, kids. So hopefully we can reschedule both. Probably both were really busy too. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking both are really busy. But we have Polly Shannon here today with us. Polly is a Canadian-born and LA-based actress. She has done quite a few things on her career, including acting, appearing with Burt Reynolds during his last film. That's right. She started with Burt Reynolds and shared scenes with him in The Finding Moment. So we'll be talking to Polly about that. Plus, she's acted with Tom Selleck in the Jesse Stone series. That is where I met Polly. That's how I discovered Polly, through the Jesse Stone series, because I got the complete series on DVD, and I also have a lot of the Robert Parker books, which are pretty good. Wow, I love her. You know what? She's here early, so let's get popping. Sorry, Katie, I had to use that. You're here, Polly. So you know what? Well, let's just open the door and come on in.
All right.
We are
live. Get all the rat demons out early so I could come.
I love that. I love coming in early. I'm just like, yeah. So it was funny. It's like right after I sent you the Super Trooper clip. Yeah. So right after that, of course, because that's how things roll. So I'm just saying how my interviews for tomorrow both just went. So now, this is always the true test of a true interviewer, to find somebody at the last minute.
Right.
I mean, literally got less than a day to find somebody. I like to give them at least 8 hours so I can promote it. If I find anybody within 8 hours, I'll just have to chalk it up as a loss and go on to the next one. And now I was just talking I was actually mentioning to the chat how I first discovered you, which was through the Jesse Stone novels.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So, through the novels, and then later on they made the series with Tom Selleck and Viola Davis.
That's right. I mean, not a shabby cast, huh?
No, you have some star power in that. I mean, the one of the two that you did, see if I can get this right. You have Stephanie March.
Yeah, she's awesome. She and I had a good time. We had a fun
she looks fun.
She is. She's really, really fun, really down to earth. We went all over Halifax where we were shooting and had a blast on our days off,
I was so used to seeing her as Cabot on the Law and Order show that when she popped up there and was being the femme fatale, I was like, I've never seen that side of her before, but she pulled it off.
because on the other show she's so sort of, straightforward and upfront, and the exact opposite of what
Yeah,
she's doing
she's
on
a
our
complete
show.
badass on Law and Order for sure.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
yeah, Stephen Baldwin was on that one.
Yes, he was
He
on
was
that
really
show.
good. He was
He's
really
he's
good.
great. I mean, he is a ball of energy, but he is great. He's lovely. He was really sweet.
And of course, you had the regulars on there.
Yes.
But I remember that one and Saul Rubinek.
Yes. I
Saul
love
Rubinek.
Saul. He's
Saul,
amazing.
yeah, Saul can do
Such a good
anything.
actor and so interesting to work with, because he just never does what you expect. You can't anticipate what he's going to do.
No, is he method?
I mean, I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but he is really I mean, he just walks in and he is that being, and his presence is just very grounded in his work. And so you just you go, okay, but it's just not the regular, it's not the normal way or rhythm of things. So he just kind of comes at you and you're like, oh my God. Yeah. But it's great because it keeps you in the moment, like real and alive, rather than going, oh yeah, we're going to do the same thing over the line, you say this and then I say, it kind of makes it fresh every time. So.
Yeah, he just looks like he's such a chameleon because you never see. I mean, he comes across both as a good guy and then when he comes off as a villain. I mean, his villain is
very good at that. I find him amazing at that. Yeah.
But let's talk about Polly. We'll come back and visit Jesse in a little bit, but I want to talk about Polly.
Okay, I'm just gonna turn up my volume. I feel like I'm really not the most tech savvy, so hold on. Okay, I think that's.
I hear you perfectly.
There. No, I just had my volume down too low, so I'm like, what? Sorry. Okay, now we're ready.
So I guess we'll get this ball rolling. Now you're LA based, but you're not an American. You are a Canadian, are you not?
I am. I'm technically dual now, but I am born and raised in Gatineau, Quebec, in Canada. And yeah, I moved down here for work essentially, and then I ended up getting married and having 2 kids and staying. But in my heart, I am Canadian for sure.
I take it you speak French as well.
I do, yeah. I mean, it's pretty rough now because I married a Brit, and there's just not. I have one friend, Anne-Sophie, here who speaks French, and the rest are all English. So English or Aussies or Americans. There's just not a lot of chances to speak French.
So you don't communicate with anybody back home and just do FaceTime like this and.
I mean, I do. I write to some of my friends, but thank God there's autocorrect because I can't remember how to spell everything and where the accent aigu goes and accent grave and those kinds of things are just far from where I am right now. That it's not just coming naturally. I'm sure if I was to go back home, it would come back. It would just take.
Yeah, I have a feeling it'll come back really quick.
Yeah.
How long have you been based in Los Angeles now?
So I started coming 20 years ago. Could it be that? I think it really was 20 years ago. I got my green card finally in 2006, I believe. And then I really was living here for 6 months and a day to keep my status, and then going home because I kept working in Canada all the time. So, and then I finally became an American citizen because I had been here for so long. And then actually I was going to go back and work in Canada because then I didn't have to worry about it. And ended up meeting my husband, so I ended up staying here. So it worked out well. I was American,
Is your husband in the business as well?
No, he's not, which is kind of, I think, why it works.
Yeah, I can see that. What? Yeah, that's a really good question. We can talk about for a minute.
Sure.
What's in your opinion? Why do Hollywood marriages struggle so mightily? I mean, they really do struggle, don't they? It's really hard to. What do you think it is? Is it just the the separation is the one common denominator to me.
Yeah, I would say there's a lot of factors. I think, even if most of the time you end up shooting in other locations for even a month and a half, that's hard on a marriage. I think for just even a short period of time to be doing that all the time and never really get like, your time together. I think when you do a film or a TV series, probably not just like a guest star, but like when you really are on big projects and your heart and your brain is in it, it's really hard to come home. And even if you are like walking through it and not putting your heart in it, you're gone for like 16, 17 hours a day. You're spending way more time with the people on set than you are with the people in your house. And I think that can really take its toll. I mean, that's sort of why when I had my kids, I really couldn't commit to doing a series or something. I just would never see them. Like you'd see them maybe for 2 days. You're so bloody exhausted. By the weekend, you're like, yeah, mommy loves that. You don't care. So I've just done a couple of movies where I've known that it wasn't a huge commitment. And now that they're older, I'm much more comfortable to try and get back into things a little and feel comfortable being gone for that many hours of the day with them. They have their own friends now.
It's something you mentioned about that, because see, I was looking at your page, and I don't know if it was just by design. I like to think it was, because it plays out really like that. Is that you pick and choose your projects?
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're in demand. I know. I mean,
Right.
I know you're a popular actress. I mean, I've seen people talk about you many different places, so I do know that Polly Shannon is is an asset, as far as us fans are concerned. But I noticed that you don't stay busy. You're more about the family right now, aren't you?
I have been, yeah, for sure. I worked so much when I was younger that I feel like I also needed a break, because I was really not in the same roles anymore. Like what I used to play all the time wasn't working, and I was still like, I was too old really physically, but also just emotionally and mentally, to play the same thing over and over and over again. And I needed to kind of take a step back and live a little to bring something new to my work. I think, you can't, I'm just like an actor who has to draw from experience. I really am. I can, do the what ifs and I can do all that, but I like it better when I have something to have in my back pocket from experience. So,
well, I can know for sure, dead certain, that you can play an attorney in your sleep.
Well, I like doing attorneys. I like doing doctors. The one that I have struggled with the most are cops. I really don't know. I find that, like, I think now I could do it, but when I was younger, I'd be like, everybody freeze. It was never my thing. I could never book cops. It was really, really difficult for me. But yeah, attorneys I love. And I got to play, obviously, city councilor in the Stone Cold series.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I just had to just do a little bit of a blue wrenching there. It happens once in a great blue moon. Once in a while, we'll get what we call a troll, and so I just had to do pest control there for a minute. So,
oh no.
Yeah. Hey, it happens. So yeah, I'm trying to wrap my mind when you said you have to play back a little, because it's like, you don't look like, honestly, I'm not saying this, I'm just being honest, you don't look like a day over 30.
Well, thank you. I am quite a few days over 30.
Yeah, I was just like, when you're saying that, I'm going like, well, why can't she play a cop, or why can't she do?
Well, I can play these things. I think it's weighted. Like when you're older, you have weight to your personality, and when you're younger, and I was very like skinny, and just like had a lightness of being that I think with life and experience and drama, you get heavier, and now you can play things like cops who have clearly seen a lot of things in their day,
Right.
You can't go and play a cop and be like, yay, hi everybody, bad luck about that thing you just did, I have to take you in. We can't do that. So.
Do you see yourself more as a dramatic actress, or more as a comedian, or more as a both? I mean, what do you think your strength? What's your strength as far as being an actor?
I really like to bring a bit of both to everything I do. I feel like I really enjoy doing comedy because I have so much fun. Like I feel like a lot of my favorite experiences have been on working with comedians and comedy actors like Leslie Nielsen. I mean, it's very difficult to sit there and have a bad time when you're working with him, and of course Norm Macdonald. Unfortunately, he just passed away. I got to work with him when I was younger. I mean, I was very blessed with who I got to work with. So I really enjoy that, but I also feel like you feel fulfilled sometimes when you do a drama and it means something and you've discovered something and you brought your heart to the surface. And that way I really enjoy that as well. So my favorite would be to do a drama with a character that has a sense of humor.
Right. Now, when you first started out your career, did you get your start in Quebec?
In Ottawa, really. Well, in Ottawa, yeah. So I was living in Quebec, but it's right across the border, from
Mhm.
Ottawa. Like there's literally a river, and but I worked in Ottawa. Yeah, I was doing sort of little shows there, and I was doing some modeling and some theater, lots of theater there. So.
Yeah, I saw some of the modeling pictures you did when you were modeling. Just absolutely stunning. You're a dual threat for sure. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I did not know about that aspect of your career until I started doing my research, and I'm like, holy cow. Then again, I'm going like, oh, it makes sense, because
Yeah, I did a lot of modeling actually when I was a teenager, and it really did bring me, it helped me get into acting, even though I had started acting first technically, because I started as a little kid. But it allowed me to move to the bigger cities and start to audition and go to school for theater and that kind of thing. So.
now when you first started out, there's a question here in the chat. I'm going to combine it both.
Yeah.
When you were first starting out in your career, I mean, did you have any idea? Did you have any like a list of people you wanted to work with?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I always was a big fan of Sir Richard Harris, and I never got to work with him, but I did get to meet him, which was really cool. I got to hang out with him at TIFF one night, and I was so nervous. I was like chugging my wine. I was just,
You didn't try to outdrink him, did you?
What?
You didn't try to outdrink him, I hope.
Oh God, no. I think I'm pretty sure I lost sadly that battle. I guess like it's funny because a lot of the shows that I kind of grew up watching and thinking it would be really fun to meet the people and stuff, like Luke Perry, I've worked with twice, and of course he was on 90210 back in the day, and unfortunately he like very very sad times right now. He passed away as well.
Yeah.
But I was thrilled when I got to work with Luke. Luke was a dream. He was so sweet. We had so much fun. Just whirlwind of a guy, just comes in, does his stuff, gets out of there. Like he's so fun. I really enjoyed him. And then Tom Selleck for sure. I knew who he was.
Right.
Trying to think about who else. I don't know.
Did you meet Richard Harris's son, Jared?
I didn't. No.
That's on you. I would like to see you share a couple of scenes with him.
That would be amazing, though, isn't he?
Yeah. He's really good, isn't he?
Genetics there.
Yeah, he's definitely top of the food chain.
Yeah.
He's really good. But when you first started out, I mean, were you working? I mean, you were mostly based in Canada, right? I mean, did you ever have to leave when you were a teenager? Did you go out of country for modeling or acting when you were a teenager?
When I was 15, believe it or not, I went and I lived in New York for a period of time by myself with like 18-year-old chaperones. You can imagine how well.
Oh yeah, that worked out well.
And then I was in Tokyo. I turned 17 on the flight to Tokyo, and I modeled there for like a 4 months. And then Paris as well. I modeled in Paris as well. And then, yeah, with acting, I got to work all over the world, which was fun as well. So,
what are some of the hardest things about you remember about the modeling aspect of things? Where, I
just
mean,
not eating. I mean, really, honestly, I was in the time of the wave, and my diet was like, I mean, I don't even want to say, but basically cigarettes and coffee. And like, Colin Fewer was this actor. He's like, you just ate cigarettes and coffee and Kleenex, like pretty much.
you had to smoke to keep your weight down.
Yeah, I mean, I did. They didn't say you had to, but I did. It was terrible. It's one of my bigger regrets is that I did smoke, honestly.
But I'm sure
I
that's a long
quit a
time
long
ago.
time ago, thankfully. Hopefully.
Yeah, no,
That's me.
yeah. Wow, that's brutal. I mean, see,
Later, I
but
started smoking
that
again, too,
frustrates me at the same time, though. It frustrates me because it's like, you know what? It's like, I mentioned this before in another interview. It's like one of the aspects of having young kids on a set or whatnot is you see them do behaviors that they really shouldn't be doing at all, at all,
Yeah.
like, like smoking or, drinking. Now, I know we know they don't drink alcohol, but a lot of times they are smoking. And it's like, you're kidding me? Like I remember watching Jackie Earle Haley in the Bad News Bears. And I'm
Right.
going like, that kid can't be more than 12 years old. And here he is lighting it up and everything else. It's like, where are his parents?
You
Worse yet, it's like, and when I got older, I was like, where's the director?
Yeah, different times, but yes. I mean, yeah. And
Yeah.
people have asked me to put some of my, like, people have asked me for my kids to model or do some acting, and it really does worry me. My husband's like, let's get them in, like if they want to do it, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm very worried about that for multiple reasons. I just think that I'd like them to be a bit like, I wouldn't mind them doing theater or taking classes or doing that, but to go and be like a child actor, I find that
Um,
that's just like it's a big decision. I think it's
Now,
hard.
how old were you when you first started? Oh man, God, I can't believe you're 15. You're modeling. That's just crazy.
I was
I mean,
12.
flying all over. I mean, I could see you modeling at home, like your mom driving you to the shoot and all that. But
You
being
know,
on your own, it's just like, now, I mean, did you ever go back? Have you ever gone back to your mom and said, um, was that in this? Should I have done that? Or would you have done that differently? Do you ever have that discussion with
I
your
think
mom?
my mom was really good. I was pretty smart. I was a year ahead in school. So I was like, even though I was 15, I was, with a bunch of 16-year-olds because I was a year ahead. Um, I think that she trusted me. I was literally one of the only people who never did drugs. Like I'm infamously Dr. No, because like I just am not, it's not my thing. And I think she knew that. I had great parents who were very worldly and very educated, and so I was able to contact them and have them kind of be there with me. And in Paris things did go a little bit wrong, and my mom was like, you're getting on a plane right now, go to the airport, I'm booking your flights, like that kind of thing, because it was just got a little sketchy. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I knew
Um,
that, like, and she knew that, and she knew, I think, that she could trust me. I think the world is very different now, and I think we know more now than we did back then, and about the industries. I mean, I definitely wouldn't let my daughter at 15 do it.
no,
17 maybe, but it's like going to college in a way. But yeah, 15,
I guess
15. I was in bars in New York City, like pretty heavy duty bars at 15, because they just let the models in. You're like, yeah, you can come in. So,
right, because you looked so much, back then you probably looked a lot older too,
yeah, I
modeling.
looked way older. I looked like I mean, with full makeup,
But
and you're coming
it's
from a
a lot.
story of
You got the life, plus you got the celebrity working in your way, and so I mean, that was true, and I've
yeah,
seen that myself in my career, so I understand that aspect of it.
yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Um, you know what? Let me back us out for a minute because you and
Sure.
I are frozen on my phone,
Uh-oh.
but we're good. We're good. I'll be right back.
Okay.
beauty of doing live TV. Um, Mr. Bones, greetings, sir. Keep your wrench at hand. We might have trouble later on. Probably we already had one troll, but now Mr. Bones is here. He's my right hand man. He takes care of the chat for us.
Okay.
So he allows me to concentrate fully on the interview, which I really appreciate, because trying to balance that. I mean, like I said, I don't get hardly any trouble at all, but once in a while, there's always got to be one,
Of course. That's okay.
So here you are. When did you decide to make the transition from modeling to acting? When did you decide that would be a good idea? Probably when you wanted to eat, right?
I mean, it's not much better in acting. Really, when I came back from Paris, it was not a great experience, and I was going to go back to university in Canada. We call it university college, this friend of my mother's, who was an acting agent, said, "There's this part, Polly can do it. Does she want to do it?" And I was kind of like, I don't want to do this stuff anymore. Like, no, thank you. And then she sort of convinced me. She's like, "Listen, it's some money, and like it might be fun, and it's in Montreal." So I drove down to Montreal, did the audition. On the way back, I got the call that I'd booked "Are You Afraid of the Dark," which is a kids show. I don't know if you know it, but like,
oh yeah, a
lot of
Canadian
fans of that show. I did one episode of "Are You Afraid of the Dark," and I still to this day have people contacting me about it. Like, "Are you Sophie?" Like, yes.
Well,
but I'm Sophie, the princess.
Well, I know there was two shows right away that just caught my eye. When that was one was you did an episode of Highlander, The Raven.
Yes, I did. Yep.
And our last interview, we interviewed Christopher Lambert, who was the original Highlander.
Oh my gosh!
We interviewed his daughter.
No way.
Yeah, I was like, that's some Kevin Bacon stuff right there.
Yeah.
So, I know it was Adrian Paul. I know Adrian Paul did the TV series, but the show itself, the movie itself, was Christopher Lambert. I just thought that was really strange. And then you did
friends with Paul to this day. He's lovely. He's a sweetheart.
Oh, you guys still talk?
Oh yeah. I mean, like, he's on we're Facebook friends, and we see each other out. He's got a son now, and yeah, he's lovely.
Do you actually do you socialize a lot with a lot of your peers?
Sometimes it really depends. I mean, this past couple of years been a little weird with COVID, but I do see some people. Yeah, definitely, especially when I go back home to Canada. I mean, if they're a Canadian actor, I will see them
100%. That's so cool, because it's one thing. There's another actress that I talked to a long time ago. I think she retired. She got married and had kids and retired, but her name was Kim Poirier.
Oh, okay. So this is funny. Our daughters did gymnastics camp together this summer. So there you go, for a small world. I think she's great. She's lovely.
She is lovely.
But she has little ones. Like her youngest is, her oldest is, I think, like the same age as my youngest, if I'm not mistaken, maybe even younger. And so she has a little one still, another one. That's
right. Yeah, I think she basically retired, I think, right?
Possibly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes it's just not fun anymore, and sometimes it's really fun, and sometimes you need a break, and so.
Let's see our Star Trek Trooper contingent just got here. Medic, yelling medic. You ever see Star Trek Troopers?
Yeah, yes, for sure.
That's one of my favorite movies, and we have when we see each other, the first thing we yell is medic. Like, I know, silly, right? But the other show I was going to mention that I was really happy to see you did, because I love the show so much. You did an episode of the Outer Limits.
Oh yeah.
What do you remember? What do you remember about doing that show?
It was. I mean, I just thought it was a really cool concept, that episode, and the people who were working on the show were really, really cool. Like Sam Egan and all the writers were really, really wonderful. I mean, it was challenging because of the nudity involved. didn't
Oh,
particularly love that part, but it made sense with the story. And I used to have this thing in my contract that I was never more naked than the guy, which
that's fair.
just sort of stopped working when Showtime and HBO kind of let everything hang out. So I was like, wait a second.
You know what? I've only seen that. I only seen that episode on American TV, so I was not aware there was any nudity in it.
Oh, right. Well, it's yes.
Oh,
There was, but it wasn't like too much because it was, their whole point was to procreate. I don't know if you remember that. So it was like, but everyone was lovely about it. And those scenes are always so awkward to shoot. And it's like, oh, sorry about that. Oh, God, sorry. Okay, don't look. Okay, move. Oh, you're all sweaty. It's disgusting. Like, love scenes are the worst.
My God. Who was your co-star in that?
God, Jack Noseworthy, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, he's solid. He's a good actor.
Yeah, he was great. And his role was quite, it was just, I think, just the two of us in the whole episode. So it was really like
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That was a two-man. Yeah, because you guys were doing what the computer were telling you to do.
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite episodes.
Amazing memory. How do you remember all this stuff?
I love that show, Polly. That I talk about that show a lot. I've always said The Outer Limits is so underrated because it's so underrated, and it's so much light years ahead of the old one. And the show Black Mirror that was all the rage a couple of years ago. All they did was just lift Outer Limits. That's all they did. So I've read some of the plots of the stories, straight lifted. I mean, you could almost say plagiarize, and you could.
Because, so I'm gonna plead the fifth here.
I mean, it was like Black Mirror guys. Could you guys come up with your own stories? You're gonna just continue to rip off Penn and Penn Desham, and and you're gonna keep doing that, or are you gonna come up with something new of your own, or But Outer Limits, the remake.
Storylines were really cool. I thought, because they were way ahead of their time, and they, were well thought through, and the characters were usually, cohesive for TV. Because sometimes I feel like on TV back then there wasn't a lot of there was a lot of flash, and these ones had a lot of motivation that was written into the storyline, and I thought they were well.
Oh no, that show is one of the best written of any genre shows. Of any genre, not less sci-fi or horror, but just overall the writing was just so spectacular.
Yeah,
it made it so outstanding. But how do you like doing? You think you do have some fantasy and science fiction in your blood? I mean, do you like it?
I mean, I worked on a couple. I did also the one with Majel Roddenberry, who's obviously a big one, called Earth Final Conflict. And
yeah.
Be a god. That was fun.
Yeah.
I am a god. To see that. That was pretty neat to meet her and work with her.
Oh, God. Okay, so here we go. Here you go. You're gonna laugh. So from our good friend Dizzy, I just looked at her IMDb, and she was Princess Sophie on one of my favorite episodes. Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yep.
Yep. Even there you go. You got approached today about it. Is there a question you'd like to ask Polly about playing Princess Sophie?
Oh my goodness.
That's amazing. That was like that was early one of your earliest appearances.
Yeah.
Isn't it something how
I mean, that was my first kind of big job on as an actor that wasn't really modeling. So yeah, it was.
Does that really when you would think that after a while, people think that you would get I know it's spread out a while ago, but people, do you ever get tired of talking about that? I mean, if people ask you the same questions about a role you played, do you get tired of answering the question? Like what was it like playing Princess Sophie? I mean, is that, or are you happy to talk about it?
I'm happy to talk about that one. That one's lovely. I mean, there was not much, to say other than we were like basically children, and we did what the director DJ told us to do, and and it was shot in Montreal at night in a mall, and it was pretty weird. We were going home, and then all the stores were coming.
Opening.
Yeah.
So you had the mall. They used the mall as the location.
Yeah, it was just kind of creepy, honestly, at night, I have to tell you.
Oh, yeah, that would be. That would be. Okay, so she has a follow-up question. Did you hang out with the Midnight Society after filming?
The Midnight Society? No, because we were actually shooting in different spots. I mean, we obviously hung out at the wrap party, but we didn't work together because their location was on another day, unfortunately.
I'm taking the Midnight Society was another show.
Oh, it's not the kids? Is that not who you're talking about?
Is that I don't know. That's
it's been so long. I thought they were talking about the kids, the group of kids that talk about all the scary stories. That's not what we're talking about.
Is that what they're called, Midnight Society? Yeah, both. Yeah, I've never heard of it.
So I might be wrong. I thought he was talking about the group of kids because I can't remember the name of all these things either. But if it's not the group of kids, then no, because I don't know what it is. But if it's the group of kids that do the campfire, I am right. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, it's the kids from the intro.
Yeah. So I know one of them, but not we didn't get to work together because it's a different location.
Oh, okay. That's so funny. You just got to mention that you just got. I could not have.
Something years ago. I just want you to know.
Even if I had planned that, I still couldn't have planned that any better than how it worked out just now. Because you just got done saying how people still come up to you and ask you about it. That's funny. So I mean, what's your I mean, as far as your sci-fi and horror, I mean, is that something you'd be open to doing something like that now? Would you be interested in doing a little bit more genre work, or you just want to?
I love sci-fi. I love the stories. I think they're really cool. I think they're often kind of foretelling. I mean, if it was a good story and cool, like Get Out or something, yeah. But I just like these slasher films is just.
Yeah.
Kind of my least favorite thing to be involved with, if I'm honest. I auditioned a couple times for Saw, and then I was like, I don't want to do a Saw movie. I just don't I know people love it and that's cool. I really don't. They disturb me. I just don't know that I want to put that out.
They are some pretty freaky films. I mean, they're really, the first three were especially well written and acted.
Yes, exactly. And it kind of went.
The new one by Chris Rock was actually pretty good.
Was it?
It's a lot more mainstream than the other Saws were. I mean, it was the violence and everything. I mean, it still had the traps, but overall, and compared to the other Saws, it was pretty toned down. They still kill.
I have to say, I did not. I can't watch those ones. I have a really hard time.
I get that. Okay, so now you're back and you just got done doing Are You Afraid of the Dark? So now you're sitting there and looking at mom and going like, I like doing this. I like to try to keep doing this. And did you go to college after that?
I studied with David Rotenberg in Toronto, and I studied what was called the Actors Studio in Montreal. I moved to Montreal after that because I got into a modeling agency there, which is better than waitressing. So I was still modeling with Folio in Montreal, and that was really lovely because Canadians, it wasn't the same thing. And then I literally booked a small part in a Denis Arcand movie. Do you know who that is? Love and Human Remains. So he won the Oscar for Barbarian Invasions for Best Foreign Film, I believe, Denis Arcand. And so he had done Jésus de Montréal, and he's a very famous French film director, and this was an English film. So I got to play a part in that. So that was intense because that was a very dark film. And he was very, famous. So I was like, but it was lovely to me. It was great, and that went well. And then I just kind of ended up getting a show called Catwalk. I don't know if you know that show.
Huh?
It's Catwalk. I don't know if you know that show. It was
It's
on MTV.
that's the band one, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I moved to Toronto to do that, and then I ended up in Toronto working forever, basically.
How did you like doing a show like Catwalk? Did you get to learn an instrument when you were on the show?
Yeah, I was supposed to. I was supposed to be this like folksy, think she's Janis Joplin reincarnate girl. I can't even. What's my name? Naomi. And they paid for me to have an hour guitar lesson every day so that I could learn this guitar, and I could not learn the guitar. I could not. I mean, it was awful. I'm on stage like.
So basically you're a punk rock guitarist.
Yeah, I think that would have been better than the picking and like getting my feet, two hands doing two different things was just never going to work for me. I could not do it. It was so, and then my teacher, the coach would be like go faster. It's just so not natural. I could not get that. I don't know.
I could never pick that up either. I mean, no, when I tried, I sat there and tried to do that. No, I couldn't do that either.
Oh.
Now, when you're on the show, did you catch heat from people saying, "Wait a minute, you're not playing that, are you?" Because we could tell.
None of us. They did a deal with MTV, and it was like none of us, except for Lisa, who was the singer, did our own sound. So they had like real musicians, but we were supposed to like play it so that our fingers were hitting the right notes.
Yes.
Not that you have like a professional guitar player who's obviously very good, and I'm trying so I just turned.
You were watching him play.
Like I was jamming with the drums. That was my trick. I don't know where we are, so back together.
Oh my gosh! I bet you were. Well, that was been a hell of a shoot.
It was really fun. I mean, it was 6 months of like we were all 20 and we just had a blast the whole time. Yeah.
Now Canadian series, they're done differently from the US series, aren't they? They're actually subsidized by the government, right?
No, not all of them. Some of them are. If you do something for the CBC, yes. There are some films that are Telefilm Fund, but a lot of the shows that it's so different now too from when I started. A lot of like that show was actually an American show shooting in Canada. They get tax credits there.
Okay.
So the American dollar, first of all, if you're going to have to pay somebody $100 in Canada, it costs you only $70. Right. Okay. So it works that way. And then you get tax credits and stuff like that. Although I don't know how it really works right now. I haven't really been doing a lot there. So
I have a feeling that's going to change for you, Polly, because it seems to me like there seems to be a lot of activity with between Lifetime, Hallmark, now a new channel getting up called
one. I think those are so fun, and I'm going to tell you, they're my dad's favorite. My dad called me this summer, my 73-year-old doctor dad. It's like, I'm so excited. It's Christmas in July on the Hallmark channel. Like, what? It just cracks me up. He loves them. So I would love to do one. And my dad will be very pleased with his life. He has accomplished something having a daughter on.
I actually think that that will actually happen, because you know what? I mean, you're going from Hallmark that was just basically they're the only ones doing them.
Yeah.
Now Lifetime got into the action. Yes. And then
I did a few Lifetime, but a long time ago.
You what?
I think I did a few Lifetime movies, but a long time ago, like not
those women in Jeopardy movies.
I think so. Yeah. I went in South Africa for sure.
But they're doing Christmas now.
Yeah.
And there's a new channel that one of the former Hallmark executives went over, and now it's called, I guess it's Great America Channel or whatever, and they're doing Christmas as well. And they're doing Christmas. There's another channel called Pureflix, that is run by Elon Musk's sister.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, now they're doing Christmas movies, but I think their Christmas movies are with a little bit more spice.
Well, it makes sense. Yeah.
But it's just, to me, it's like, yeah, and they're always filmed in Canada. The movies, they're always filmed in Canada. Every
Right.
one of them. Every one of them.
Yeah.
They'll get out there and they'll do the fake snow, but most of the movies are always done in Canada.
Yeah. I think it's the tax credit thing, and I don't know.
Hey Phil, how are you, sir? Our good buddy Phil, he'll also comes in. He always shares us out. So I want to say hi to Phil for that. So yeah, I mean, going back to now, I mean, do you feel yourself progressing as an actress with every role that you take? Did you feel like you were getting better, or did you have any self-doubt when you were after every show you did? Did you feel like, okay, now that's done, but where's my next job at? Or did you feel like, all right, I kicked that show's ass. I'm ready for something more. I'm ready for something deeper.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, I was pretty proud of my work with Tom Selleck in the Stone Cold series. I think like both those movies were really strong. They were great crew and cast to work with, clearly. So, if everyone else is amazing, even if you're not, they tend to pull you up a bit. The director was phenomenal, Emmy winning. So I think I would have loved to have done, unfortunately, my character doesn't last too long. I would have loved to have done more of those because I think I had more to say. She was such a cool character to play because she was really like, she had this great strength about her and also a lovely softness. I think now I was up for a role right literally in February. I was shortlisted for a new series, and I thought, oh yeah, no, now I'm ready. Like I have more experience to come. I've played moms before, but it's real different when you are a mom. And now I'd love to share that, to work with that information that I have. And the emotional attachment, which you can't fake until you've had a child. It's just too big, the drive and the love that you would have. So I'd really love to do something else. I don't know what's next. I think, my kids are finally back in school after COVID and things are happening again. I think I'm supposed to go do another movie with Stephen Wallace. He's a bit concerned about me in the snow because I said to him, this is a funny story. So this was on Defining Moments. This was Burt Reynolds' last film. Right. And do you want me to tell this story or not?
No, please do. Okay, yeah, I was coming to that, but I'd like to hear it. Definitely.
Okay. So we're shooting exterior and it's nighttime. And in my memory, which was like 2 years ago or 3 years ago now, it was freezing cold, like unbelievably cold. I was having hot pockets all over my body. I was wearing this big coat and I was freezing. And so Stephen said, like, well, this movie shoots, in January, February outside in Canada. Like, I'm a bit worried about you being cold. And I was like, well, I was fine last time. And he goes, Polly, you were really cold when we were shooting Defining Moments that night. And I was like, yeah, but that was the end of October. And he said, it was August. I was like, oh my God, you're right. It was August. So I'm sitting there dying of freezing to death.
You knew it was August. You were just trying to slide by.
It was so cold. But it was Canada, and it was technically cold. I just want to be clear. It wasn't like -5 or something, but it wasn't hot. It wasn't like, and I'm, been in LA for a while. So
I think here in the States, whenever we say it's cold, like I'm in southeastern Michigan. So right. when it's like 30 degrees and I say, Polly, it's cold here tonight. How cold is it, Patrick? It's like, it's 30 degrees. And you sit there and say, oh, so you must be in July or August because that ain't cold.
Right. I mean, I think back, like waiting for the school bus in -40, like insanity.
Yeah.
Insanity. But anyway.
Yeah. Defining Moments. Wow. What a what a chance to work with Burt Reynolds. A chance to, Burt Reynolds. I'll say this about Burt Reynolds: he got he got far better as he got older as an actor. He was,
Yeah,
he was,
it
it
really
was,
is.
it was really funny. It's like when he was young, real young, when he's doing Dan August and Gunsmoke, he was really good. Hawk, he was doing Hawk, he was really good. When he got into that Smokey and the Bandit phase, and Hooper and the Cannonball Run, I'll be honest with you, his acting was shit.
Yeah, but they were fun.
Yeah, they were fun, but they were. I mean, the acting was just garbage. I mean, way below what he was capable of. But it seemed like the older he got,
He got
once he slid past that matinee, #1 box office guy and everything else, once he started getting older, his acting went back to being really good, and it just got better. Tom Selleck's act like that too. Tom Selleck's acting now is so much better than when he first came up, in my
get
opinion.
better as time goes by. But I think also he's just, the roles too, I think that they're able to get better as well, so it's not so like I'm leading man and I'm macho and I'm in control. Like this is just like not that much to play when you have a challenge like Tom Selleck in as Jesse Stone. He's an alcoholic. He's, heartbroken. He's got a few pitfalls that he can't stop falling into, and yet he's a really good guy. So that's a great part for him. That's why he wanted, he is a true gentleman, Tom is. And so I think it was a perfect
Oh,
fit.
I was blown away by that series. I got every single one of them.
Oh, do you?
I went and bought every single one of them. Yeah. Jesse's actually sober now. Right now, he's
Okay.
sober. He's sober, and he has a son.
Right.
Right.
Yes. Amazing.
So, yeah, I just got done reading it. I just got done reading one of the books where they introduced that. It was one of Robert Parker's writers that picked up the mantle after Robert passed away.
Okay.
Yeah, so I kept up because I was a huge fan of Robert Parker. I was a big fan of Spencer for Hire.
Oh, yeah.
So I read all the Spencer books. Watched the series, and in fact, they actually did a movie in Canada. I watched. I didn't know that. I knew they made 4 TV movies, and so I was sitting there watching the one, and they filmed it in Canada. I knew that, but I was really I was really surprised when they walked inside of a strip bar and they were topless. I'm like, wait, because it was Robert Urich and Avery Brooks. So I'm thinking it's just going to be like the TV show. Oh
Right.
no, they snuck in some nudity there too. I'm like, oh, that must be for the European market because I'm like that never happened on the U.S. market at all.
Shows. No, definitely not. Not primetime network for sure.
So did you have to go through do you think your role in Jesse Stone helped you get the role in Defining Moments? Because you showed a hell of a lot of range in your 2 parts in those 2 movies you did.
I don't know. I think it was just, Steven's Canadian, the director, and he probably knew a lot of my Canadian work that maybe not every American would have seen. So I think the first movie I did with Steven was called The Professional. Oh God, sorry, The Performance. I wish it was The Professional as well, but it wasn't. It was The Performance, and the character was kind of like this campy, almost caricature of an old actress. And I think he knew that I could do that from some of the comedy stuff that I've done in Canada, even though it's a drama, but just because she's so over the top, in this kind of sad, tragic way that he hired me from that. But surely, I'm sure he's seen the Stone Cold series as well.
What was it like to actually, to work with Tom? I mean, was he very rigid about his acting? Was he just, how did it, and you guys did some romantic scenes too. How uncomfortable was that?
It was fine. Tom's a dream. I mean, honestly, he's one of my favorite guys to work with. He's just the epitome of a gentleman. He does not suffer unprofessionalism. He will not tolerate it. Like if you come not prepared, he's not going to handle it. He's never rude. He's never like drama, but you can tell he's not happy.
Yeah.
But I always came to work prepared and ready to go. And he was just a doll to me. I mean, we would go out to dinner. He would take the cast out all the time. He was just so fun to hang out with, and just charming and lovely. And opens the door for you. Like he's that guy. He's a classic gentleman.
He's old school Hollywood.
I did have to wear like 6-inch stilettos because he's so tall, and I'm actually 5'8", so I'm pretty tall. But like, otherwise, the entire time you're like looking up at this guy in all the shots. He's 6'5". He's big.
Yeah, he's a big guy. He's definitely a big guy. Yeah. So doing the romantic scenes wasn't they didn't bust your chops about that. That was okay. I had a feeling it was fine.
It was fine. He's lovely. He's it was fun. It's not like he's not
handsome. So let's talk a little bit about defining moments, because that, like I said before, we'd mentioned before, it was Burt Reynolds' last movie. And did anybody know that? Was he sick on the set? Did we know that he was in trouble at the time, or was he just?
No, he was actually supposed to go do another film after our film. And then I remember that we found out that he had canceled that one. And I just assumed it was because he was tired, because it was actually really hard to shoot. It was overnights again, and it's hard. But he was energetic. He sat there like he was very into filming. He loves acting, or loved acting. And he wanted to be part of the process at all. Burt wasn't one of these actors you had to knock 40 times to get him out of his trailer. Like he was there on set and loved to watch the other actors, and he was fabulous. I really adored Burt. We were good friends, and he was just sweet. Like he wanted to make sure I was like in this hotel in the middle of nowhere in Canada, and he'd be like, I want to make sure you get to your hotel room. I'm like, I'm good. Trees and raccoons out here, we're good. But
that was a pretty powerful cast too. I mean, not only you and look, take a look at. I mean, some of the people in the chat, they're gonna know instantly who I'm talking about. So Sienna Guillory was in it.
Yeah, Gilroy. Yeah.
And Sean Roberts was in it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure any minute now someone's gonna be going, "Oh, I know those guys. Oh, I love Sienna." Sienna, she's wicked.
She's great. She's lovely too. She's
wicked,
really
cool,
smart and wonderful to work with.
Yeah. She played Jill Valentine on the Evil Dead movies.
She's also in the performance, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was just like, I caught that, and then I saw the Sean Roberts, and I saw Tammy Blanchard. I'm like, okay.
Oh my God. I got to work with Tammy. She's a dream. She's, she's like an amazingly talented, Broadway actress coming in and doing this. She was amazing. She was really fun to watch, actually. She's so full of things.
Of course, Graham Greene.
Yes, I've done a couple movies with Graham too. He's lovely. He's fun. He's cool. He's like really, really chill.
Yeah. He's a really good actor. Every time you see him, you're gonna get a good movie out of him. I call him like an elevator. You put him in anything. You put him in anything, and the movie might not be good, but because he's in it, he raises.
Yes. He's so unique and so special, isn't he? Sorry, my chair is stuck on something.
So what was that? What was it like? How did you get the part? Did you have to audition for it? Was your part written for you, or?
When I was shooting the performance, Stephen said, I have this other film that you'd be perfect for. Burt wasn't attached at the moment. I can't remember who was. Someone else, very big, so I said, yeah, obviously I'd love to do it. And that took a couple of years though, because of one thing after another. And then he got Burt, and he's like, where are you in 2 weeks? wherever you are, darling, wherever you are. And so I went and we shot it. Like it was literally that fast. I didn't have to audition because I worked with him. So he knew, he knew me and knew we get along really, really well. I think Stephen likes to work with the same actors that he knows he can trust and that aren't going to cause him any problems, because that can happen. And so he brought me on. Like, I think we're supposed to go shoot another movie this winter.
Yeah, I'm looking at the cast of looking at the cast right now, and yeah, Nick Mancuso was in it.
Yeah.
Nick Mancuso did a great movie way back in the day called Nightwing.
Yeah.
Oh, you remember that?
Well, I know. I mean, he's done 1,000 things. He was famous for the other one. He was famous, well, in Canada. I'm sure it was in the States.
There's Nicholas Campbell.
Nicholas Campbell, and yeah, Nick's a bit of a
Canadian. Okay, I gotta ask you a question on Nicholas Campbell. I know it's gonna be a really weird question. Yeah. Does he smoke that much as he always does on camera? On camera, it's like they give him a carton and they tell him, okay, this is your prop for this movie. Every movie. Is he like that in real life, or does he just hate it?
Oh no, he smokes. He's a smoker.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, it's just like, oh my, I'm watching and my lungs hurt. But he's a good actor. I really.
He's a phenomenal actor. He really is. He's like I said, he's a bit of a Canadian legend.
So. Yeah, you're right. Stephen does like to work with the same people. There's a lot of the same faces in the performance as well. You had Graham Greene, you had Nicholas, you had Sean, and you had or was it Sean in there? No, you had Sienna in there.
Sienna, yes.
I thought Sienna was English.
She is, but she flies over to do the movies.
Okay, because I thought maybe she was a dual citizen like you are here.
I don't think so. I think because Tammy's not a Canadian either, and obviously not Burt. I think they got visas to work there.
How did you like learning? How did you like training to be? I mean, how did you like your training as an actress? I mean, what did you draw back on that for your roles, like in the Performance, or the Jesse Stone series, or the or Defining Moments? What did you find yourself drawn upon the most? I mean, is it?
I mean, I like to be very. Sounds really nerdy, but I like to be very prepared. Like, I break down the scene quite a lot. I like kind of memorize what I want to do more than even the lines. And then I have to kind of throw that out the window, because you have to be there and dealing with what the other person is bringing to the table. Some shows you get to have a bit of a rehearsal, and sometimes you get to know your actor. Like, by the end I kind of knew Tom, and so I could kind of imagine when I'm reading the scenes what kind of thing he would throw at me, and so it was fun to play. Other times, you prepare, you got great ideas, and then you get this and it's like not gonna work, so you have to like draw on your training to just be in the moment and remember your objective, and those all the basics of the scene, and hope you figure it out.
Do you think you're a good improviser? Do you like doing improv?
Yeah, I mean, I think in drama, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I mean, I just, are you more of a script person? Like, if you have a good script, this is what you want to work off of, or can you just cut loose and just, it's because it seems like someone like Burt.
It depends on the character and the character's profession. So if I'm playing a brain surgeon, it's very hard for me to improvise. Like, you need to cut the little thingy underneath the thing, and I can't do that.
Have you played a brain surgeon yet?
I did, actually, yeah. No, they changed it. It was a pediatric oncologist, also very, very
yeah.
But yes, those kinds of things are harder to improvise, but in other scenes, for sure, I love it. I mean, I did a whole series called Street Time with Rob Morrow, who infamously improvises everything. And my first day was so hard because I was hired to play this drug dealer, like this woman who's shipping cocaine in from she's based on the Bolivian drug princess named Sonia Atal. Really goddamn cool cast and crew, I've got to tell you. Terrence Howard, like lots of really cool people. But I don't do drugs and I don't really know much about it. So when I get to set and suddenly all the lines are taken out and I'm going, it was really tough. And luckily my friend
Please tell me
helping.
tell us some outtakes of that.
Oh my God. It was so difficult. But one of the writers, the story editor was like, so he would tell me like little lines to say to like, oh, okay, I got you. But then in the end, when I started to understand the whole thing, you know, the who the character was more and get a little intel on how this, I literally got Drug Dealing for Dummies or something. I remember I went out and I bought this stupid book because I was like, I don't know this all works. You know, and it wasn't like we had movies like Narcos back then or shows like that. So yeah, but I enjoyed that as well because it was challenging and fun and never boring. Gonna be awake.
You know, Polly, I don't know if there is a book Dummies book to drug dealing, but I have a feeling if someone hears this, I think they just created an idea.
I swear there is. It's something, or maybe it was Mafia for Dummies, or like it was one of the For Dummies books for sure. You know, it was like yellow.
Okay, that's hilarious.
It wasn't drug dealing, but it was something.
We'll have to ask Mr. Bones there if he could check Amazon for us and see if there's a book out there for drug dealing 101. Drug dealing 101 for dummies, and we'll have to drop that in the link because people might want to buy that book just for the laughs. What has actually been the hardest part for you to play? I mean, besides that one. I mean, that must have been that's not like you said.
That was such a fun experience, but it was only hard until I got the hang of it. You know, like when I understood what I was talking about. I'm
trying to see you as a drug dealer, and it's just like
I actually really think I was pretty proud of myself for that work because it was kind of creepy. Like I was this, you know, she was this girl based on this real woman who I think imported more cocaine in the 80s than anyone else, and she looked like a model.
Yeah.
And so I played a French girl who was doing it. They didn't.
But you know what? I meant to say that in the sense that it's sort of scary though, to think about it. Like you see someone like you hear them all the time, baby-faced killer, or femme fatale. It's like the last person you expect, 15-year-old kid with a 4.0 GPA,
right.
or dad who, is a surgeon, yet on the other side, he's dealing pain meds, or the soccer mom, who's smuggling cocaine in the country. I mean, it's sort of scary, like you think about it, going like, no, there's no way that person could do that, but they have.
Yeah, it's almost more. Yeah.
So how many times have you, I mean, I know you died in Jesse Stone, but was that your first death scene?
No. I mean, I've had them so many times.
Really?
Yeah. I'm trying to think about okay. So in Denis Arcand, that second I died, like I'm literally a victim, one of the guy's victims. I must have died so many times. I can't think of Jesse Stone I did.
Yeah. Because I'm looking here and I'm just looking at all your roles and going like, I think as far as I know, I think the only time I ever saw you die on camera was Jesse. I don't think I've ever seen you die.
It's got to be more. I feel like I've done it so many times. So.
Okay.
I think it'll come to me though. It'll come.
Okay. Like Hydra?
Yeah, I die in that. I get eaten by a 7-headed snake thing.
Wait,
yeah.
Wait, is that a horror? Is that a horror movie?
That is a horror movie. So there, boom.
Yeah. Wow, look at that. I gotta drop that in the chat so people can take a look at that. Oh man, we gotta find this. Oh my god, that's amazing. Okay, so here's Polly in a movie called Hydra. Oh, this is epic right here. Now, did you do that for Sci-Fi Channel?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
Sci-Fi Channel? I might have. I think it aired on Sci-Fi Channel. Probably did. Yes, I'm going to say yes. I can't remember. I don't think we shot it. Like it wasn't on there when we shot it. It wasn't like one of their productions. We shot it as something like an independent film, and then I think it went there. Oh, a movie called Hide. I also died in. I'm still on that topic. I'm like, I feel like I've done this.
I'm just looking at this. I'm going like, okay, there's another strong cast you're in here. George Stoltz, I remember seeing him before in Texas Battle. Yep, Final Destination 3. Let's see. Wow, this is pretty cool right here. Alex MacArthur. I haven't seen him. Oh, Matthew Willig. Oh my gosh, he played Gunner. He's a really big dude. I mean, he makes Tom probably look like a younger brother. He's like 6'8", 6'9". He played pro football.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
Yep. A friend of mine named Sean. He's friends with him, and he's done a couple movies for him. He's a really nice guy. That's funny. That's epic. Just trying to find. So, what was it like? Okay, let's talk about the serious role, because I mean, dying in a sci-fi movie just isn't the same as dying in a dramatic role. So,
the hardest acting though, like you're sitting there going, some like weird snake thing that's not there is trying to eat you. Like really, like how can it's just
how hard was that? How hard was it?
Hard. It's like it's never gonna be good. It's just like you could go to theater school, you could graduate Juilliard, but you're just gonna be like, like this.
Okay, so okay.
Good. And the other how gave us an eye line, and I'm like, he's like, but there's 7 heads. I'm like, yeah, but like the heads can't be this way and this way. It was so awkward. We're all like this thing coming from different positions. It was crazy. Fun but crazy.
Now, what possessed you to do the movie? Did you just want to do it for fun? Was that something fun that you really did?
LA, and it was one of the first things I booked in LA, so I did it because I wanted to work in LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now is that what? Okay. I didn't.
That was kind of like a funny horror movie too. Like it's kind of like it's super camp, and it's kind of I allow for those things. It's more the like super scary stuff that freaks me out a little bit.
No, I just mentioned that when I saw it because I went shopping today to my local library, because I always go down there I was getting movies at the local library, and I was down there. And so today I picked up one called Python.
Oh God, my son, my 5-year-old would love that. He's obsessed.
This one has Robert Englund in it from Nightmare on Elm Street and Casper Van Dien.
Oh.
You're in good company, Polly.
See?
And that's a giant ass snake. So you're in good company.
Very, yeah, 100%.
But back to Jesse, back to your scene of Jesse. I mean, how hard was it for you to do it? How hard is it to actually do it, this scene? And
I did that in one take, I believe.
You what?
I had one take.
Wow.
Yeah. It was actually scared me to do it, so it worked.
I was going to ask you, is it scary? Is it scary knowing that? Is it sobering, or is it scary? Does it get in the back of your mind a little bit about mortality when you have to do a death scene?
I hate everything with guns. I do, honestly. I mean, I realize they're part of a lot of great movies, but it always scares me. I'm not even talking about what just happened, but like just even before that, it there's something about the image that freaks me out as soon as I see it. So I'm like pretty naturally acting when I look like I'm afraid of a gun. They also had squibs on me, so they like explode, and it doesn't hurt, but it like does that. So you react, so it feels like you're being hit a bit. And then they thought I was very good acting, but I did actually fall and roll down because it was snowy and icy, and it worked perfectly. So they're like, done.
I will have to say this. When it came down to avenging angels, in movies like that, there's no one's. Tom Selleck is like right there. It's got to be in the top 10. Like when you cross him and he's coming for you, you might as well just make your peace with Jesus, because you're not being here for very much longer. Like he's awesome for that. Yeah. I mean, the looks he has on his face. I mean, it's like it's like you really did it to somebody in his family. It's sort of spooky.
Yeah.
Because
He's
he's so it's like he's definitely a hell on earth, for somebody.
he
Um,
he likes that. Actually, a lot of the and Viola in the movie as well. Like if you watch her work, which you have,
oh yeah, she was great.
everything is very understated. It's so much. It's so still and heavy. Like it's just it was the style of the director and Tom and Viola fit that really well. Just sort of like all in the eyes and saying so much without speaking. I enjoyed doing that too.
Um, so I mean, you mentioned about the set, the guns. I mean, have you ever worked on an unsafe set? In your opinion, I mean, has there any bit of set that has made you uncomfortable?
I worked with one actor who was irresponsible with guns, and it made me uncomfortable. Yes,
So
definitely.
yeah,
They used in rehearsal. So different countries have different rules, and I've shot different shows in different countries with guns, like Argentina and South Africa and America and Canada, and in Prague, Czechoslovakia, I guess, or Czech Republic at the time. But in Canada, we have pretty strict gun rules to begin with, and this guy grabbed his bodyguard's gun and was using it, and I was
gee,
like, "Are you effing kidding me?" Like, and I walked off set because I was really, not to be a diva, but I was really upset by that.
yeah,
It was not acceptable at all. Like there are all these rules, and they're supposed to show you what's inside. Like it's supposed to be a dummy gun, like a rubber gun or whatever. And then as soon as a real gun comes in, they're supposed to show you what's in the gun. They're supposed to like go through a whole protocol of safety before you even rehearse with anything like that. And you never rehearse with the real gun. And this guy was doing that, and it was just like kind of, he was a bit of I'm not going to say who it was, but he was a bit of a handful, to be honest. So,
wow, yeah,
but
wow,
most of the
that's
people are really good about that stuff, like really professional and awesome and helpful because it's
I bet you that. I bet she ain't doing that shit today.
oh no, but the thing is that nobody there's what happened on The Crow, there's been regulations for a very long time, and I mean any set I'm on except for that one, it's really strict, and anyone who's in SAG or an actor or any of the unions that's an actor, we're usually really good about it. Like it just because of the potential for danger, because you don't want to ever hurt anyone in a yeah, I don't want to say too much.
No, I know I know what you're saying. I mean, one of the things I like, and a lot of the people in the chat, they're collectors as well, but we like watching the special features, and a lot of times they'll show it when they do pyrotechnics, and
Yeah,
they'll show you how it's done, and and you see the actor getting all getting ready for the gag, and then he does the shot, and but you see like there's a small army right there that just rush over there, and and you can hear the director and everybody else going like, now, like put them out, put them out, put them out. It's like it's really there's no lollygagging around.
yeah.
So I know safety is a paramount to you guys.
Well, I did a
Um,
movie with Dolph Lundgren, and there was like gunfire everywhere, and I had to shoot a bullpup. Anyone know what that is?
yeah. Okay, wait a minute. What movie? What movie were you shooting the bullpup in? I gotta go. Okay, what movie was that?
Direct action. I play a cop, so there. It was one of the times that I played a cop.
Oh,
Yeah, so
look
I
at
got to
you.
shoot. I believe I shot an AK, a bullpup, 9 mil.
Look at your little badass.
I can't remember all that. I mean, definitely 9 mil, right? Because I was, but I can't remember what the other ones were. Anyway, but the bullpup ended up being the gun they wanted, and anytime I shot that and it was on auto, you stop the frame. My face is like, and I was young and taut. That is so horrible. Why? That's not sexy at all. Like, I was.
The gun was probably heavier than you are, loaded up. I mean, that's not a small gun.
It wasn't. And I was told that I was really good because I didn't blink, and most girls blink. But my daddy was in in the military, and my grandpa too. I think I got it in my genes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, but one thing that was weird is that we were shooting the bullpup in a car, so I had to shoot it out the window.
Okay.
Scene, and they have real shells. Like the shells come out the side of this bloody thing, and they shoot out. And they were shooting up. One hit. So this is just like talking about gun safety. One hit the roof of the car, fell, was so hot. I mean, the shells are like this big, went through my leather coat, my sweater, and stuck into my arm. Crazy, right? Like there's just like danger everywhere. It is like, it has to be so strict and mapped out and thought through. Like you just can't do things half-assed with that stuff. It's impossible.
You didn't get hurt on that though, did you?
Well, I mean, it just burnt me. It was like a burn, but it wasn't like super fun. It was like,
no.
But,
you're probably sitting there looking at Dolph going like, why didn't you catch that big guy?
Dolph is super sweet too. I mean, he was, he was wonderful. He was very, very safe. Very,
wow, you've had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think a lot of really cool leading men when you think about it. Like it's really
So. What did you know? Did you and Christopher? Did you guys decide that after you got married that when did you decide that you were going to back off a little bit off your career and decide to have a family? I mean, was this something that you had discussed before? It's like this is something you wanted to do, so let's do this now, or
I got engaged and then I ended up pregnant 2 weeks later. So there was not like So, and because I was engaged, obviously, So when I had my daughter, I really wanted to be with her, and she was not super healthy as a baby, so it also just kind of became my priority. And then I did end up shooting, and then I got pregnant with my son. So then I was like, okay, this is now, I'm gonna do that baby period. And again, like, he would have been 3 when COVID hit. So I was just at that point where he's going to preschool, and I was going to get back into things and, kind of get going, and I was auditioning and having fun again. And then COVID hit. So now I'm just kind of now thinking like, okay, this year is the year I'm able to, hopefully the borders they stay open, start working again,
When you guys, how did you guys handle COVID? Okay. Did you handle it fine? Did you,
my husband was one of the first 40 in California to get COVID. Lucky us. Wow. So that was a bit of a shit show, to say the least. We had to, he got it in Aspen and
Colorado.
There was an outbreak there, and then he knew, and he was with the people that tested positive, and so he had to stay in the hotel for 2 weeks, and then they shut down the hotels, and then he had to come home. We had to cut off the back half of my house upstairs, and he was really quite sick with it. He was sick for 5 weeks, really sick, and no one knew what to do. They wouldn't let him take Advil, for God's sakes. I don't know if you remember that, but all this no one knew what, and they're like, "You're unlikely to die." Thanks.
Oh, that was when old Mr. Trump floats was telling everybody to drink bleach and shit like that.
That's right. Yeah, there's lots of good info happening there.
straight from the ass's ass to your ear, right? Oh my God. Yeah. Well, I'm glad he was okay, and I'm glad everybody was fine. I mean, that was been really scary.
Somehow we're all okay. We were convinced we all had it, but my kids and I somehow didn't. So thank God. I'm sure we were exposed.
Now, coming back though, have you found it to be, now that everything's back open and whatnot, and there's so much out there, Polly. I mean, you got so many different streaming services, so many different series. I looked, what I did for the first time? I cannot remember the last time, because I don't have a TV. I just watch films and DVDs and stuff like that. Yeah. But I cannot remember the last time I actually cracked open a TV guide. But I was doing that today at the library, waiting to get in.
Yeah.
Holy cow, there are so many stuff to watch.
Yeah,
so many shows and whatnot. Do you
and
think
there's
that
some
one?
really good shows. I would love to do so many of these shows. So, yeah, I mean, this pilot season is coming up. Basically after Christmas. This isn't the busiest time. I definitely will probably be auditioning for things and hopefully shooting this film if he'll allow me to have snow pants and a parka the whole time.
Put it in the rider, Polly. Put it in your rider.
I will be wearing snow pants in every scene. It's part of the character. But it's actually kind of a fun role too because she is really not a diva. Like she's like one of these conspiracy theorist journalists, and she doesn't have to, like, she doesn't wear makeup. She's like, that kind of girl with crazy hair, and I think that would be really fun.
I think I'm sure that you stay in touch with you stay in touch with your manager and your booking agent, of course.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah. I still have an agent and stuff. So
right.
I just told them, truthfully, like I said, I was supposed to go. I was up for a show, and literally we were locked in the room because my husband was sick with COVID. And then basically the whole city and country shut down. So it ended up all going away. But I have a good feeling, like, if it's meant to be, it will be. I'm very lucky that, we're in a comfortable position where I don't have to stress about, working, but I really love to. So it would be a fun thing for me to do again.
Yeah, it's obvious you definitely love your job. You could,
Yeah.
everything about you just screams that. I'm going to open up to the chat. I'm probably doing this again, but if Mr. Bones loved your gun impersonation. I did too. That was fun.
And yes, watch the scenes of the bull pop. And freeze frame. My face will be like, you'll have a good time.
Okay, and there is a book called Dummies Abridged: Drug Dealing for Dummies.
I told you. I was like, I'm pretty sure.
Written by Polly Shannon.
Written for Polly Shannon, druggy dummy.
Does anybody have any questions for our guest, Polly? You guys are more than welcome to drop some questions in, and including some for Catwalk. That's funny. That's so cute. That is really cute. I did not. I have to admit, I don't know how I missed Hydra. I'm gonna have to look that one up.
That's
I'm gonna have to look. Hopefully they got a home release and I can get a copy of that.
I've seen it somewhere. Like, I think it was on Netflix for a while. I don't know.
Do you watch yourself when after for your jobs? Do you watch yourself on screen?
I always watch after to make sure.
Okay. Right. How do you? Are you your own worst critic, or are you pretty generous with yourself?
I don't know. I feel like it's harder for me to judge for drama a bit. Like, I think I'm pretty harsh on myself for that. Comedy, it's kind of like, it's obvious, because if it's not funny, it's not funny. And then sometimes it's not really your fault. But yeah, for drama, I think I'm pretty, like, I sit there like super tense and I'm watching it and, waiting for, like, okay, well, that was bearable. Okay, we made it through that scene and, into the next, that kind of thing.
Hello, Judy May. Welcome in. We're interviewing actress Polly Shannon from let's see. Mr. Bones says he owns Command Performance, but now he'll have to watch it. I'll have to watch it, and he's going to watch you shooting the gun.
Okay. Awesome.
I'm gonna have to look for that one too, Mr. Bones,
because I think you'll enjoy that. It's
yeah. I'm gonna have to get a copy of that too. I want to see Polly shoot the bull pup. A couple more questions while I see if anybody asks any questions before I let you go. Have you ever been to a convention, and is that something that would you consider doing if you're able to?
I haven't done in the past. I've been asked to a couple of times for different shows. Sorry.
No problem.
happens. But I would love to. I was asked to actually do it this summer, but it was just like such an outbreak of, Delta and stuff. And my agent was like, I don't think it's a good idea. So I
Right, right.
didn't do it.
Is your agent? How long you had your agent? And did they take really good care of you?
Yes, definitely. I've had this agent for a long time. I really love them, and they're very patient, and they don't, I've had agents where like, well, you have to do all these things or then we're not going to rep you, which is
Jeez.
understandable really from, they're a business, but Rich has been my agent for a very long time, and he's very understanding about what I will and will not do. And I think he keeps his eye out for roles that he thinks are going to pique my interest, and then I get to go out for them if they'll have me, like so. But yeah.
Did you read that article the other day about Sarah Jessica Parker? She was talking about how I guess they're doing a Sex and the City sort of spin-off series, and
Yeah.
people were commenting on and how the women have aged, and she thought it was really unfair. Do you think it's really unfair? Do you think it's fair that or you think it's fair or unfair that women get judged a little bit harshly for their age more than men?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like,
I
what
mean,
happens to women when they turn 50? Do they really just vanish into nothing? Because
oh,
that's what media and film wants us to think, and I find that depressing and unhealthy for half of our population.
agreed. I agree.
Women who are 50 have more stories to tell us, and I think there's a gorgeousness about a woman who's embraced herself and her aging and has wisdom and love in her bones.
Oh gosh, it's so. I mean, when I saw that, I was thinking of how many actresses that I enjoy like so much that are older. Like Dame Judi Dench. I mean, I watch everything she's in. Emma Thompson. There's so many. I actually could go on. I have a list. Helen Mirren. I mean,
Yeah.
she's amazing. So I just saw that and went like, well, why, why? I would think now in today's enlightened Hollywood or woke, if that's whether you want to say it or not, but you would think that would actually be receding because there's so many more roles out there. Actually need an actor with some chops that, I don't know if you could pass for, I don't know, you could probably still pass for a high schooler.
I don't think so. Not in real life. But thank you. Bless you. What I think it is too is it's easy pickings, to go after a woman because she looks older. Like, how not brave, how not intelligent of a comment do you want to come out of your mouth? And people put it on social media. They're very brave behind the keyboard, and I just think it's weak.
Yeah, I do too.
I dismiss them with just like, oh, classless, no brain, nothing better to say. Like, there's so many bloody problems on the planet. Somebody's wrinkles and gray hair should not be the top of your list to do today to talk about.
No, I mentioned this before in another interview, and it sticks with me. Some of these things really stick with me. I mean, I was turning gray when I was 14 years old. I had gray hair when I was 14. Yeah, I was 14. Yeah. Oh, I didn't think so at the time. I was embarrassed. I'm like, I'm 14 years old. Why do I have gray on my temples? It's like, I got teased for it. It didn't bother me. I mean, it didn't bother me so much, but I mean, I do remember being called grandpa, I was 14 years old. But yeah, I remember there's one actress, who was debating whether to go gray or not. And she was stressing so much, Polly. I mean, you could feel it physically through her Instagram page, her pain. She didn't know whether to do it or not. She was scared. She was scared shitless.
Yeah.
And finally she said, okay, I'm going to do it. And she has. She looks beautiful. Oh Lord, she looks beautiful.
I mean, some women really look better with gray hair. They just look like, I mean, my mother-in-law has this insanely beautiful, thick, that gorgeous silver gray, and then she's got this darker piece that goes through. I mean, like, you couldn't get someone to make it that good. Like, nobody can do it.
I think Sigourney Weaver has the same look. Now I think that's natural. Sigourney Weaver.
Yes,
Sigourney Weaver. Her hair's naturally like that. She has black hair still, and then she has a thick gray streak right through there, and it's beautiful. It's
Sure. And
beautiful.
I think it should be up to the women. Like some people don't want to be gray. It doesn't look good on them. And some women do. And it should be whatever you want. Like, and I don't think that should dictate your value. You know, for me, I don't particularly look great with like sparse little gray hair. So I mean, this is not the color God gave me, in case anyone was wondering.
I wouldn't.
But you know, I one day I think I will go gray. I would like to, you know.
You know what? That was the last thing I was thinking of. I gotta admit, the only thing I'm thinking about right now is, shooting the bullpup.
Yeah, gosh, yeah. There you
go. Polly, Julie mentions, you're exactly, Polly, you're exactly right. That's how I feel. So yeah, I do too. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair. I mean, we're all allowed to age at our own pace. I don't think you should be penalized for it, though. In terms of getting a job or not.
Yeah, well, what was really inspiring is Frances. My tongue would work. That would be nice. Frances McDormand, who she's just lets herself be who she is. I think she wore like Birkenstocks to awards, and she's just like. She's such an amazing actress, and she is what she is, and she is representing a real human who is the age she is and isn't all glam. Now I realize that's what she plays as opposed to somebody else who maybe plays more glam. But I really appreciate that. That's a new thing. That's a new concept. I don't think we've really had that with women before. We've had it with men, but not with women.
Right. Polly, I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and let everybody have one last shot. If you want to ask a question of Polly, please do. But I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping it up. I want to say thank you so much, Polly, for coming on. I had a blast.
Me too. Thank you so much.
I had a blast. This has been absolutely fun. I had so much fun.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it.
You're truly delightful to talk with. And when it says here that is this the movie that you might be doing, the one that's in pre-production? Let's see, the 2 minutes to midnight.
Yes, it might be that. Yeah.
Okay, we'll be hoping that that comes out hopefully maybe late next year.
You would really like it actually because it's kind of a different genre. So I think you'll like it.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe when it comes out, and maybe we can have you come back on and we talk about it.
Yeah, I'd love to.
That would be awesome. Yeah. I'd like to thank everybody on our chat for coming out and talking to us, hanging out with us. I'm going to do the calendar real quick, and then I'll say goodnight. I live by this thing, Polly. I live by this thing. I mean, do you keep do you keep a calendar by you on your phone?
On my phone, yes. It's very overscheduled.
I'm way old school.
Oh, see, that's what I need because my phone, I just
It helps. It helps. It has cats on it, so
that's pretty good. I like the old cat calendar.
You can't go wrong with cats. All right. So tomorrow night is Sayonara. I might have a surprise guest on tomorrow. If that's the case, if I can't find another guest, I'll be having Polly back on for round 2. But
oh boy.
I'll try to have a guest on tomorrow. I don't know if that will work or not, but we will on Thursday. We'll be interviewing Candice Carella at 8:00. She is a up and coming director. She did a wonderful short film called Unicorns, and she is also a wardrobe expert. She does costuming. I've never interviewed a costumer before.
Oh, it's neat.
I mean, she's got some credits. I was like, holy cow, just amazing. And I have so many questions. And then next Tuesday, we'll be back here with executive assistant Ruth Hill. She is an assistant to Paul Green, who is a fellow Canadian who does a lot of Hallmark movies. Yes.
Perfect. Tell him to look me up. I'm waiting to do one.
Okay, that's it. I'm gonna have you. You're gonna be. Stay tuned for that. We're gonna have a special guest hostess for that night, and Polly Shannon. The 17th we have actor Mike Markoff. He is a strong actor, action adventure actor. Tremendous fun, deep thinker. Yeah, this guy is really cool. You'll love him. He's a really nice guy, and the ladies seem to love him. And we'll be talking about Death Squad. We'll be talking about Homestead, which is a new Western coming out that he did with Jamie Bernadette and Brian Krause. And on the 18th, we'll be talking to actress model Cami Storm at 8 o'clock. And then on the 19th, we have, I can't pronounce her last name. For the love of God, I can't. I'm afraid to say it because I'm going to crush it. But her name's Chloe Triakos, and she's appeared on The Righteous Gemstones. So she'll be here with us on the 19th at 8 o'clock. All right, that's it for us. I want to say thank you to our chat. Thank you, Polly. And I'll see you guys if I'm here tomorrow, just you'll know it. If I'm not, I'll see you Thursday. Until the next one. Peace. Stay right where you're at, Polly.